Hey, this is Max. I am back with another CSR2 video. So in 2 days, we're going to have the Halloween Cup, Jerry's Ghostly Grotto. It's going to require you to have 3 cars, running 60 total races to win the AMG GTR prize car, after which it has its own cup that you can participate in, called the Number of the Beast. So which 3 cars are we going to use? That is already made pretty clear by the cars that we have in the dealership. All right, so what do you mean? Well, what I mean is natural motion made it easier for us to see what's going to be used because they put them all in one place. Halloween, Focus RS. Halloween, SRT Hellcat, LB. But remember, the regular one has always worked unless they fix the programming in between the last time the LB and the regular one was used together and this time. Chances are the regular one will work this time as well. And then ultimately the M4 GTS, which is a 5-star car, tier 4, not as easy to get. Now, I'm not sure what they're going to do as far as offers. I suspect you'll be able to buy these cars for gold. Traditionally, when you buy a car for gold, it doesn't come with stars. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here if you start buying these cars to participate in the cup. Generally speaking, with these events, if you don't have enough upgrades in these cars to make it through these events, you're probably so new at the game that you're just not going to have the cars no matter what. Anybody who's played the game for a while should at least have a few of these before and strip them. Doesn't mean you have it built, nor does it mean you have all the stage 6, but you should have a few of these cars. The one car that many probably won't have is this one. Because unless you got it back in the day as a PC Cup car, you may not have had a chance to pull it since it's a 5-star. And unless Donna trolled you when you're pulling the ACS Camaro or whatever other 5-star tier 4 or tier 5 cars for Prestige Cup in the last few seasons, you're probably not going to have one of these. Or you've been around long enough, you would have one of these. Even if you do, chances are you may not have one maxed. Which brings me to the point why I'm in this garage, not my own, is because I don't have a BMW M4 GTS Max. So Nick Viles once again stepped up and told me, hey, use my account to make the video. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate the help. So here we go, another car that is maxed, the M4 GTS. Now, Nick has a maxed SRT Hellcat. And I think, as I indicated earlier, this will be a car you could use in alternative to the LB. This one's actually slightly faster. They basically have identical kind of effects from stage 6. That's been discussed before in both the Made in America and also prior PC Cup when this car popped up as a PC Cup car. So there should be videos out there for the stage 6 effects. If not from me, then from someone. Bottom line is the Hellcat is rather nitrous dependent, and if you don't have stage 6 nitrous, if they make this cup as hard as they did for Made in America, you may struggle getting through near the end with the Hellcat. The Ford Focus RS, there's only a difference of about zero point 0.8 seconds between full stage 5 and full stage 6. Now, full stage 6 is 10.153. I can tell you full stage 5 is a 10.9. So you're talking about a 10.9 to 10.15, so about a zero point 0.8 second difference. What does that tell you? Well, there's 7 stage 6s, and I know nitrous does almost a zero point 0.2 second drop. That means the other 6 are going to only do somewhere between nothing to zero point 0.1 and change. Just know that each of the stage 6s generally have the same effect, but nitrous is the biggest one for this car, while tire is all about useless for this car. The other thing Natural Motion's thrown in with these new events, sprints and speed traps. The good news is the Focus RS is a bit of a speed trap car, doing easy 140 mile per hour plus in the quarter mile. So you won't have too much of a problem with speed traps because even for Tempest 3, the top speed trap is only 140 miles per hour. I don't think you need to hit 160 in this event, so you're probably okay. That's assuming you have a maxed car. Now, can it beat its own speed trap more by you simply driving it a certain way? Well, let's find out because I don't drive this car much. I don't like this car that much. Some people do, but I don't. And I just never had much experience with it. What I can see already is that sprints, this car's weak simply because it's a tire spinner in the beginning and it just can't get that sprint thing going well. If you were to drive it normally, you would hit nitrous in second. But here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it get through second and then hit nitrous in third to see if I can get past the 143 mile per hour. 146, not that impressively more, because the delay of loss from the second gear to the time that you hit third gear, you lost a bunch of track time. But again, you're beating Dyno's estimate of mile per hour by a decent amount. Oh wait, that's not the Dyno. That's what I ran with the normal driving. So you do better with this when you launch it in second gear nitrous versus if you do it this way, that's slower, but that's higher. So probably not a whole lot of tuning involved here with this car. Fully maxed, this car can actually do a 9.9 if you drive it perfectly. Um, Nitrous in second. It's a pretty easy car to drive overall. It just got to launch perfect and get the shifts down. 9.9 is probably the best you're going to get out of it. I think world record is like 9.9 something. So I'm not just saying that because I can't hit better. It's just what I think you're going to hit if you were to drive it, the best you can. So margin of error here is not that great, which also means there's not a whole lot of chance here that this cup is going to be super easy or super tough because I'd never seen a cup where they let you beat it just with full stage five. Um, they always want to see some kind of stage six. You could be sure some fusions, but full stage five, full fusions, usually just a little bit off from what you need at the minimum. Sometimes all the way to the point where they really want you to have the car almost fully maxed. This, again, is a very old car. It's a one-star car. It's something you probably pulled a bunch from, Donna, even though you don't want any more of this damn car. So Natural Motion isn't likely to make this first 20 races super easy, but there's hope because they did make it relatively easy for the Porsche Cup. I hope the same guy who set up that event is setting up this event, and it will be equally fair to the players in that it's not too hard and not too easy. There's hope. We'll see. Now, second leg is likely to be with the Hellcat. Now, if you haven't done an event with the Hellcat yet, you must be really, really new player. So you may not have a Hellcat built. The problem with all three of these cars, again, even if they offer to you for gold purchase, the issue is that they all cost gold normally too. So you just can't buy these cars and get additional stage six parts with regular money. You have to use gold. And gold can add up a lot because if you buy a gold based car that does not come with stars, and that's fewer fusions per car that you get, and for tier two, that could be as little as four. And for tier three, maybe five or six. So you have six chances to get a stage six. And I can tell you, you could pull eight of these cars, strip them all, and get no stage six. So keep that in mind. If you don't have these cars somewhat built, some parts available, you may not get much. The additional piece of good news, though, is they will give you a crate specific to each leg of the race. How do I know that? Well, I saw a, CSR Turkey picture today that shows that particular crate for the Ford Focus RS. So that means these, much like the multi-leg events we've seen with the Porsche Cup, they will have a crate available to you. So there you go. You could spend your keys to get parts. I'm not going to go into much detail with the Hellcat. This car's been used by Natural Motion for every single cup that they could squeeze it into. I have no idea why they love this car so much, but somebody in Natural Motion who has some say must really like the Hellcat because it keeps getting put into different events where I think a different car would be nice. But hey, that's their choice. That's what they put in. All right. So a slightly longer discussion is worthy when it comes to this car, the M4 GTS. Here is the M4 GTS maxed out, tuned by Nick. I'm not going to second guess his tune too much. I'm just going to move a point or two around and see what it shows. No, nothing. So he's got the tune down here. Okay, this is max evo tune that you're going to get out of this car. This car is a bit of a strange bird when it comes to how to drive it. So here you have 11.7, 1.6, 213 mile per hour. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gears. If I remember this car correctly because I never drive this thing, is that you use the nitrous in third or fourth rather than second. That gives you the best run. And you may have to short shift some of the gears too. So it's one of those cars that you got to kind of know how to drive or you're just not going to get the best time you can out of it. Uh, I believe it is perfect launch. Oh, oop, screwed that up pretty good. That was a quick first gear. So I think I better shift out of first gear a little quicker than that to get any kind of decent time out of it. That was kind of a miserable run. 11.7 dyno, 12.1. So let me see if I can unembarrass myself here and do something a little better because that was really bad. Nick actually gave me instructions on how to drive this. I'm not looking at it right now, and I'm not going to go back to look at it. So I'm just going to fumble around and see if I can get close to 11.7 at least. So it looks like almost like you launch, you got to start shifting right away. Then you kind of catch it with nitrous after a shift or two. So let's try again. Right, so I short shifted 1, 2, 3. In fourth, I started using nitrous, and I'm running the car out near perfect for the remainder part of it. 11.8, okay, good enough for me. I am not looking for a world record here, and that's close enough, okay, for government work. Okay, so it's close. It's 11.8, dyno's 11.7. So you got, if you're better at driving it, you could maybe hit dyno or possibly even beat it. I don't know. But 11.8 is what I'm looking at. Now, that car, even though it accelerates quick like that, doesn't get a very high mile per hour. Let's say Natural Motion decides to give us a pretty decent challenge for this car to say, look, you need to hit higher mile per hour. Can we do it through tuning? No. So it gets stuck. But that's because of this. What if I put the tire here? Look at that. Ooh, 225. So there you go. It is possible to get a higher mile per hour, 229. Maybe have to get it to 240, 229. But let's try to see if we can hit 250. Because the speed traps, chances are you're gonna have to do this adjustment with this car. You're gonna adjust the tire, adjust nitrous, maybe not as much as I gave it. It probably doesn't need it. Aggressive, shorter bursts of nitrous could be just as good if you use it late enough. But let's see where we get with this by doing that. Okay, so again, I'm going to short shift, use nitrous in fifth so that it actually runs nitrous close into seventh. 234. Not too bad. Not as much of a speed as I had hoped, and it's okay. I mean, you know, your dyno was 229. That's 234, 5 miles more. Not the best, but on the other hand, you can see 0 to 60, 0 to 100 sprints shouldn't be that much of a headache for you if you just set it to the standard setting of where Nick basically had it. I don't remember where he had it. Sorry, Nick. I know I'm kind of screwing this up here for you. Oh, here we go. This must be where you had it. Okay, so 1.410, 2.386 is not bad. You could probably get shorter time than that by launching and hitting nitrous right away and then catching it. It's going to be a little frantic, but probably it'll get you a nice 0 to 60. Let me try it. I hope I didn't just, lie to myself about what I can do here. So let's see. You're going to hit it, boom, nitrous, and that gets you through 100. Now, let's see what the numbers actually comes out to be. That's a little bit like how I used the NSX when I try to get a faster 0 to 100. Hopefully it was decent. If it's not my fault. Okay, it's okay. It's not great. 1.346, 42 on a 1.4. Okay, so I beat it slightly, okay? I beat it slightly. But I didn't do that great on the 0 to 100 though. So your normal driving technique probably works well enough for this car as far as the sprints for the mile per hours. You could probably tweak this to, get some more mile per hour, but understand that without adjusting the tire, the mile per hour is not going to get too far. And it looks like you can't go too crazy with this either. The mile per hour isn't any better by dropping the final drive a lot. You're almost better off putting the final drive near where you want the car to finally end up at. So let's say we want to end up at 240. There's your 229 again. So there you go. So the only thing that's going to get you a little extra mile per hour looks like a tire drop. Okay, so what about the difference between a stage 5 versus a stage 6 tune on this? Let's go take a look at stage 5 real quick and see where it leaves us when the car's on full stage 5. Jumping back to the garage. Looks like things are loading a little slower on my device after the new update because it used to jump from one screen to another a little bit quicker than this. And talking about this update, this season has been a bit of a disaster for a lot of players. RP's not basically not working. You're doing the PC Cup, you don't get your points. You can't chat in crew chat because, well, it doesn't work. And people have other issues too, but those are the two prominent ones that I noticed. Oh yeah, people's profile names that refuse to change even though you changed it. You look at your profile name, it's changed in the game on your page, and then you jump into live and it looks the same. It's like, whoa, 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 I changed that. I put the trading symbol in. How come it's not showing up? Well, unfortunately for you, that's what's happening with the game. Okay, so I'm just tweaking it generally. I'm not really trying too hard here. But it looks like there's a big drop when you're missing stage sixes. Remember, we were looking at 11.7. This is a 13.4. That is a 2 second plus drop. And you know what that means. If you have that big a drop, stage sixes, certain ones are going to give you a huge drop in time. Hmm. So the M4, you're going to be relying on the stage sixes. Unlike the Focus RS, which is only a little bit off from its full stage six setup, this car is way off. And that brings us to take a quick look at the stage 6 effects. I'm not going to fine tune these because the video will end up too long and it'll be a big headache for you to watch it. But let me just kind of look at it generally speaking. So that's a 4/10 right there without fine tuning. Okay. And actually more than 4/10 if you tune it slightly. So that's a full flat 4/10 actually because it was 13.44 before. Now it's a 13 flat with a 4.9. So 4/10 with the trans. Trans is pretty big. But again, we have a 2 second margin to play with here. So trans being 4/10 doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily end up being the biggest boy in here. Tires should be big. This car apparently needs 0 to 100 grip to do the job. So I would think tire would have a nice effect on it. But I've been shocked before. No, tire didn't do that much. How about that? It's not helping. 13.2 out of 13.4. So tire gives you a bit like a 2/10 drop. You can use a little bit less grip. You could probably use more aggressive trans. No, you can't. You actually have to lower it. Huh. Okay. So there's tire. Not that impressive actually. Surprising. High grip cars usually like to have stage 6 tires, but hey, not this one. That makes me wonder if I put stage 4 tires on it, can I get a higher mile per hour? Well, I'm not going to test that right now, but that's something that's got me thinking. Okay, let's take a look at body. Body, I know on certain tier 4s really has a big effect. So let's see what it does on this car. Not as big as trans, at least not yet. That's not likely to be trans. No, about 310. Not terrible, but not trans beating yet. Hmm. So trans is big right now, and the engine, turbo, intake, I'm not optimistic that any of them are going to beat trans. So trans might be the top dog unless nitrous comes through, because body and tire hasn't. Nitrous is kind of weird thing. With some cars, it's really big, and other cars just doesn't need it. Let's put nitrous up. Hmm. Oh, here we go. Oh, see what it says. 12.9. There you go. So nitrous is big. It actually beats trans. So nitrous right now is big dog. Now, fine tuning, you may actually find trans could beat nitrous, but as of right now, it looks like nitrous is the big boy. So between nitrous and trans, you already dropped about 8/10. So that's, 8/10 right there, plus one other stage six, you're a full second off. So that's what's going to drop you from 13.4 to 12.4 right there. And then you have to go from 12.4 to 11.7 with the remaining stage sixes. That's going to be interesting. I wonder how big these are to drop it from 13 to 11.7. Unless certain combinations just does magic. That could happen too. Although I'm not holding my breath about that. 13.2. So this one doesn't do that much. Let's take a look. 13.2s. Okay, that's about 2/10. Let's take a look at turbo and engine real quick so we can get a feel for what everything else looks like. So the M4 here, I think you're going to need some help with stage sixes because, again, any car that has a big gap between stage five and stage six, that means you're going to be part dependent on that stage six to get through these events. That's a 13.2 as well. So these are pretty much 2/10 a pop, pretty even, um, which actually is better than most of the time you get from intake and turbo. So that's 2/10, 2/10 there. Let's see what engine gives you. Engine, the final one. Okay. Is it going to surprise us with some kind of big drop? Unlikely. That small change there doesn't seem to bode well for a big effect from this stage six. And it doesn't. So intake, turbo, engine, basically equivalent to each other. You have the big guys, the trans, and of course nitrous, which drops almost close to a second, I would say, 8/10 at the minimum between the two of them. So you got those two big ones. So if you're missing those two and you have all the rest, you're probably still running close to the same time as if you just had those two and nothing else. Because these two guys here in combination, whoops, these two guys in combination should drop the car to like a 12.6. Let's take a look. I didn't tune it yet. Okay, so if I tune it to 4.8, give it a little here. Now again, I didn't play with the tire that much. Um, there's always a balance here. If you put tire down here and put that up, you can also get a very similar point value, but it just won't be exactly the same. But sometimes that'll be lower than if you did it this way. See what I mean? Okay, so 12.6, like I said. So those two drops you to 12.6, about a full second off from, not quite a full second, but pretty decent amount off from stage five. And then you got to make up the rest with all the additional stage sixes. You're going to need a few. Unless they make this cup at the end here really easy, I suspect the M4 GTS will be the car that everybody gets stuck at. And I'm going to see posts on Facebook asking, well, how do I tune this? How do I do this? How do I do that? Well, the good news is you can get fusions very easily, strip a lot of M235Is and BMW M4s, you get all the fusions. You won't get the stage sixes without the crates or some good luck. So that's where you may be stuck. I'm sure the event itself will reward some stuff too. Maybe stage sixes. Let's take a look if that has stage sixes in it. I thought I saw some, but oh, there it is. So one stage six is likely to be given for each car, or is one stage six for that car given, which would be nicer, but I don't think so. I suspect it could be either a random stage six or it's a stage six for your car that you're using for that leg of the race. So there's all your rewards. Kind of okay, but 45. Oh, no one bronze key this time, huh? I guess people complained so much they didn't do it this time, but they should give us at least something to even out all the weird ones we got last time, though. Oh well, it is what it is. All right, so that was the quick review of the Halloween Cup that is coming up in 2 days, the M4 GTS, which is probably the car you're going to have the most trouble with. And this here, which you shouldn't have any trouble with, but again, these kind of events where you're going to win a car, if you're a brand new player, I hate to tell you, you're probably not going to make it through this easily without spending something. And if you're a free to play player, but you've been playing a while, you may have all these cars already ready to get it done. I wish you the best of luck. I certainly hope that we can all get that AMG GTR with the purple stars. That is a good car. I will be doing something on the AMG GTR. If it's anything like the yellow star car, it's a bit of a dyno buster car and can be tuned to be very deadly in live. However, Mercedes parts are always hard to come by. So it becomes a balancing act of do I want to invest in that car or not? Purple Star always helps a little bit with RP, so it's worth thinking about if you don't have another Purple Star car that is good in live. All right. Hey, comment on the video. Ask questions if you thought I missed discussing something. Again, I didn't really get into the SRT Hellcat. Other videos I've done already discussed it before. Look for those. And if you have any questions, of course, you can ask me in the comments. Uh, Subscribe to the channel. You will get notifications when I put new videos up. And as always, thank you guys for subscribing and watching my videos. And a lot of you guys comments where you tell me, hey, this video really helped me out. That really makes me happy and it gives me the drive to make more and more videos for you. Final point, do give me ideas and comments about what you like to see. I do try to do those when I see them. Someone already asked before for the AMG GTR Stage 6 effects. I didn't forget that comment. I just didn't get a chance to do it yet. But let's see what happens with the Halloween Cup and let's all get that AMG GTR first. And then we'll figure out just how good that car is. Again, thank you for watching and have a good one.